Right, week 15, we've got the Commanders versus the Rams. So the Rams are favored by 6.5, and I'm going to take the Rams. The model's pretty consistent on this, and it matches what what the point spread has too with the line here. So the model is favoring LA with a 70% chance of winning, which comes out to about a 6.5 point spread. Imagine that. When we come over to the points, is it widens just a little bit, and that's again, I wouldn't read too much into the 1 or 2 points. Again, this is a Monte Carlo method, so you generally come out with similar results every time, but never the same result because a lot of chance comes into this. So is it calling for 20, 24 to, or sorry, 27 to 20-ish uh, matchup? And then, quite frankly, when you kind of look at the numbers again, Washington, they're a poor team, and occasionally they can kind of reach up and strike someone. It looks like they've never scored more than 35 points, and that was the second game of the year. Since then, they were close against Philly, but beyond that, they're not a high scoring team. Then when we come over and we look at the Rams are a mediocre team. They certainly looked good a couple weeks ago against Cleveland. Quite frankly, I thought they looked good just this last week against Baltimore. They took them to overtime and they nearly won. So the Rams are definitely getting better. You see that they've won 3 of their last 4, and the one that they lost, hey, they played well enough to win, and they just didn't. But they're playing well enough to win. And then when I look at the the Bayesian adjustment, is it doesn't really tell us anything new either. The big thing I would look at is uh, Washington just has a poor defense all the way around, and they've got a good to mediocre offense. It looks like that they can run the ball. We'll take a look here at the performance charts here in a minute, and then when you look at the Rams, is it shows that they're mediocre. But if you went back, say 5 weeks, those were mostly reds. So with that, it's the Rams are definitely improving, and it never ceases to amaze me when I do watch Washington. Sometimes they can definitely surprise you, but for the most part, again, they're a poor team. So let's take a look at the performance charts here. First thing that kind of catches my eye is Washington's got if you're putting up 100 yards rushing, that's actually not a bad game. The Rams definitely have advantage over here. It is showing that Washington is able to put some of the points. Again, it's really hard sometimes for the models to wash out some of those garbage yards that come from that. When we come over here to the right, one of the big things I would point out is just the big plays. Those big plays make a big difference. Meanwhile, Washington doesn't have a lot of those. What that's telling me then is when you see like these higher averages over here from Washington, those are going to be your shorter plays, your garbage yards that they're getting in the prevent defenses in the final 4 minutes of the game when their opponents are up by 14, 20, 2 or more scores for sure. And then I would also point out that Washington is not really protecting their quarterback particularly well, and then that's going to lead towards those interceptions, going to lead towards those fumbles. So all of that is going to come into play with that, which oftentimes I think when you look at the performance charts here on the right, I think those are probably more indicative of how that outcome's going to go than looking at the yards of rushing and passing. Sometimes you look at those and you go, wow, there's some significant differences. But when you come over to the right, when you start seeing the sacks, the big plays, those really show a much deeper level of the story. So anyhow, if you like what you listen to, if you found this helpful, click like and subscribe. If you got a question or comment, drop me a note.